Johnny Depp effectively has bankrupted Amber Heard. And so if you are a woman out there and the power dynamic had become so altered that as soon as you said, this guy did to me something that was inappropriate, it could be criminal or it could be just, awkward social interactions, the guy was automatically guilty, right? That's what hashtag believe all women represented. And now in the back of any woman's mind, if she is thinking about making allegations, she has to think, wait a minute, what if that guy decides to file a defamation case against me? He could bankrupt me. Buck Sexton and I are in a bit of a tiff here over the incredible popularity of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. I admit that I got sucked in. I started paying attention. I started covertly and secretly reading articles about this trial. When I would finish sometimes our show, I would flip it on and watch the testimony. Sometimes in prep for this show, I would be sneaking a glance over my shoulder at the latest testimony from Johnny Depp or Amber Heard. And the numbers reflect that an overwhelming majority of those who pay attention to news were also equally all in on this trial. So 1-800-282-2882. I am offering absolution of a sense if you were involved among those mass individuals who were obsessed with this case or grew to care a great deal about this case. You can call in and offer your confession. Buck, I'm one of them. And I got to tell you, if I want to make this into a big story, I think it represents the end of Me Too and Believe All Women. And we know that this was a crap argument in the first place. 4 years ago, they used it to try to bludgeon Brett Kavanaugh and keep him from becoming a Supreme Court justice. It was all a lie. But Amber Heard being rejected this publicly by a jury in Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, not exactly a anti-woke community, right? Northern Virginia, liberal-leaning community. $15 million. Now, those numbers pulled back, $10 million in compensatory, $5 million in punitive. Those numbers pulled back based on state law in Virginia on punitive damages, and Johnny Depp's agent got hit with the $2 million defamation claim. But when this jury found that there was actual malice involved and clear and convincing evidence that a Washington Post editorial had constituted defamation against Johnny Depp, I think it was a clarion call signaling the end of hashtag Believe All Women and Me Too. Now, Buck, you basically have not, and by the way, the verdict surprised me because yesterday on the show, Buck, when you and I were talking, I thought we would see like minimum dollar damages, maybe a defamation finding, but effectively Johnny Depp has bankrupted Amber Heard if she ends up having to pay out this settlement, and may well have rescued his own career and provided a vindication in some way for him based on these allegations. And I think anyone out there who was saying, Buck, believe all women or Me Too, every woman's telling the truth. I mean, it's a fundamental miscarriage of justice to say, believe all men, believe all women, believe all black men, black women, Asian men, Asian women, Hispanic, whatever, right? And so I think this actually is a significant case. But the tawdry details and everything else, I was all in on it. I secretly have been a big fan.
Look, man, you're an honest fellow. You like Bluetooth speaker music on a peaceful beach. You admit to things, and I appreciate that about you. I
got kicked out of a Little League game, for God's sakes, and came on the radio.
By the way, you should put out a poll on your Twitter so I can just see, even in Clay Travis world, like even in your people, your followers on social media, how many of them are like, yeah, Clay, tell that umpire what's up, and how many of them I think you could guess now.
Probably like 30% are on my side, 70% are against.
50-50.
I mean, I think a lot of maybe it's 50-50. A lot of people are just like, hey, why would you tell that story? And the honest truth is, I try to be as honest with my audience, this audience, anybody who listens to me, as I possibly can. And sometimes that means you share things that otherwise you'd be like, yeah, I wasn't like, not like I was excited to get kicked out of a Little League game for
I will tell
rightly disputing an awful
I
call.
never got a yellow card that's not true. I got
Never got
No,
a
I
yellow
got 2 yellow
card
cards
as
as
a
a
big
high
deal.
school soccer
Yeah.
player. I cannot tell a lie.
I got quite a few.
I got a couple. I never
quite
got a red
few.
card, though. I never got a red card. I got a yellow that was going to be a red as a coach, though. So, because I
For yelling at an official, a high
and
school
can you
match.
imagine me? I mean, I'm the guy who sits there quietly at sporting events. Like, I just contemplate and watch. I
What
don't
happened that got you so fired up? Do you remember?
yeah,
like,
no,
that call?
the guy, one of my guys was getting manhandled by the other team. A bunch of thugs. Somebody should have checked their IDs for the ages. This is high school soccer, not post grad college soccer. Kids had there was kids on the other team. It looked like they had 5 kids of their own and had a beard like one of the guys from ZZ Top. Anyway, I yelled out, if they're not going to call anything because the ref is blind, we still got to play on something like there might have been a curse. I don't know, Clay. It was a long time ago. I can get a little salty too sometimes.
But so the ref stopped the match,
the
came
entire
over
match,
and gave
walked
you
over.
a,
It was a playoff game. There were a lot of people on the sidelines. Walked over and said, "One more word from you, and you're gone." And pulled out the yellow card. I was like, "Whoa!" And he said I was deliberately disrespectful. I always remember that. That was which you know what? Fair. I was actually. He did nail me.
Well, you were deliberately disrespecting his awful reffing of that match.
So I think I actually I'm on Team Clay Travis on this one, without even knowing the facts, because a really bad ref can ruin your day. So on the Johnny Depp thing, though, which I know we were sitting here, Captain Jack Sparrow. There were a lot of fun memes that it was the day that Amber Heard almost captured Captain Jack Sparrow in court. I'd say this. You ever read this maybe could be added to our books list, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene?
No, I don't even know I've heard of it.
Fantastic book. It's essentially an updated Machiavelli for all times. Machiavelli's The Prince is one of the most seminal, important works of political science that everybody put it up. Orwell's 1984, Machiavelli, The Prince, On Liberty, John Stuart Mill. I mean, there are just some things you got to read. Some people would say Edmund Burke, Reflections of the Revolution in France. Producer Ali, by the way, is like jotting all these ones down. We're gonna have to throw these up on Clay and Buck.
Those are ones, by the way, that are not going to be beach
those
reads.
are nerd books.
Like,
no, let's be clear. Those are nerd books.
You're not going to be like, hey, I'm going down to, I'm getting away from the family for, wife and I are getting away.
The accurate assessment.
Yes,
you're correct.
Yes.
Those are like you gave me. I'm now getting up to page 200 here on Undaunted Courage, which is fabulous.
That you can read that on the beach. It's a great.
It was a beach read.
Yes.
Great book. 48 Laws of Power. It is actually 48 laws about human power and how it manifests, and it tells you stories from history to illustrate it. But I remember, and I'm paraphrasing, one of the laws of power, and this is what makes me think of this, and I'm telling you all, it is some people say it's like a sociopath's handbook. Whatever. It's very good about strategy, and it's kind of like Sun Tzu with historical stories in it. Anyway, one of the things is cut toxic people out of your life. And you have to be absolutely ruthless about when you're, we're not talking about family members. We're talking about someone you're choosing, whether it's a coworker, romantic interest, when you realize someone is toxic, because a toxic person can, if close enough to you, destroy anyone. It's one of the lessons of the book. And for
coaching energy vampires is another way to put that. Like, if they are sucking all of your energy out, I mean, that is tremendous advice for anybody out there of any age.
And when you see the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, the point of this that was fascinating, I will say to me from the outside, and I watched very little of it, and I just sort of caught the day, because we're on air basically when it was going on too. We're going to cover it live all day.
I would have watched it every day if we weren't on air. By the way, Yeah, I would. I mean, 6 weeks. I would have been like sitting down in front of my chair watching.
Drinking a frosé by the pool, listening to the Amber Heard trial.
Hey, me and the suburban moms in the pickup line at school, we would have been breaking down the late. I had a friend. She said she's in a book club. She said one of the women that's in her book club said, "We're not even going to do a book this week. I'm hosting it. Everybody's coming over. We're just talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial at the book club."
So, I mean, look, this became a kind of a cultural phenomenon for a number of weeks here. And I just think that for anyone observing this, we live in such a celebrity-obsessed culture, to the point where for a lot of people it is really unhealthy, to the point where it becomes a waste of time. Like your input, and we all dabble in letting our brains go on rest. I'll watch random things on Netflix or something. I mean, we all, and I get that. I'm not judging that. I do it too. But there is a portion of our society that I think is celebrity obsessed to a degree where it's It's harmful to their psyches because they elevate these people. They think they live these amazing lives, everything's so great. Johnny Depp married somebody who, and now I'm not saying he's an angel, by the way, at all. I didn't really follow closely.
Right. The number one takeaway is that both of these people have toxic aspects of their personality, and together they became even more toxic.
Do you ever see it was a cartoon and a movie, The Toxic Avenger, It was a toxic waste dump of a relationship. This was like the green ooze that turned the turtles into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, this was a really bad situation. And I just think that for people to see Captain Jack Sparrow, he's been in so many movies, but that's really the iconic, that's the thing I think.
The role that he made a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Apparently, personally made $600 million over the course of his career, which is, even by Hollywood standards, that's a lot of money to make as an actor.
Yes.
He had somebody who was effectively making his life a living hell every day because he made bad personal choices, and at the top of the bad personal choice list was who he was spending his time with. You have to protect, and this is just a lesson that I take from it, and other people can take from it what they will. You have to protect your psyche and protect your time, no matter who you are, because toxic people can make you miserable, even if you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars and are globally famous. So that's my biggest take. What's your biggest takeaway from this trial?
I mean, the big picture takeaway to me is, again, I think it has changed the calculus of accusing a man of misconduct. Whether you believe or disbelieve, whether you agree with this jury or not, for the Me Too and the Believe All Women, I mean, Johnny Depp effectively has bankrupted Amber Heard. And so if you are a woman out there and the power dynamic had become so altered that as soon as you said, this guy did to me something that was inappropriate, it could be criminal or it could be just, awkward social interactions, the guy was automatically guilty, right? That's what hashtag Believe All Women represented. And now in the back of any woman's mind, if she is thinking about making allegations, she has to think, wait a minute, what if that guy decides to file a defamation case against me? He could bankrupt me. Now, if women are telling the truth, I think they should still come forward. But the idea that women don't lie is just a fundamental. Everybody out there knows women who lie. And by the way, men who lie too. And so we had spun so far outside of rational discourse to saying, we believe you because of your gender.
Does lawyer Clay think that in the near future, we will see a high-profile allegation of sexual conduct, misconduct, I should say, sexual misconduct or even a sexual assault that is false, as has happened with some of the very high-profile cases?
Duke Lacrosse, great example.
And then will result in a defamation claim by the accused. Do you think we could see that? Do you think the shift in mentality is that strong?
I think that Johnny Depp's lawyers are probably sitting down right now saying, we won $15 million. Do we want to push more chips in the table and sue the Washington Post for publishing this op-ed from Amber Heard, which was the basis of the defamation case? And I think that you will see increasing skepticism that the media is willing to embrace. Remember, talking about Hollywood, you remember Matt Damon got crushed early in the days of Me Too for coming out and saying, hey, there's a difference between grabbing somebody's ass and rape, right? Which is 100 billion% true. And he was just saying, hey, we can't treat everything as if it's some sort of seminal violation of Me Too. And he got destroyed and had to apologize for that.
You realize that producer Greg in there has to have like octopus, tentacles to deal with all the phones.
There's ringing. A lot of people who want to confess.
Everyone is weighing in across the country on Johnny Depp, apparently. So there you go.